Welcome everybody from the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. It's great to have you here today. Once again, we're going to continue looking at our urban parking system that's been designed and developed in Enterprise Architect. And we're continuing our series looking at some ArchiMate diagrams, and today we're looking at the product viewpoint. So welcome Stephen, great to have you here today. What can you tell us about the product viewpoint in ArchiMate using Enterprise Architect?
Thank you for the introduction, Scott, and as always, a pleasure to be here. Yes, we're going to look at the product viewpoint, which is one of the viewpoints that the ArchiMate specification, the language and the framework specifies, and it's a useful viewpoint because it depicts the value that products offer to the customers or to external parties, internal or external parties. And it shows the composition of one or more of the products in terms of the elements that make up the product. So the business application or the technology, services and associated contracts and all sorts of other elements. So let's get started, Scott. Let's dive into this. As always, we go up to the top right-hand corner of the application, and you can see here we want to set the perspective. And I've been working on some simple user interface models this morning, and you can see there that the toolbox is reflecting those elements. I'm going to change our focus now to what we're focusing on this video, which is enterprise architecture, the ArchiMate language and framework. So I'm going to click on that perspective and notice that the tool changes its focus to ArchiMate. So here is the product viewpoint. What's come up here, Scott, is a list of patterns, and here we can see the product viewpoint, and it gives a diagram and a list of references and tools that you can use with this particular viewpoint. Now you can inject that directly into your model by clicking on the Create Model button up in the top right-hand corner there, and that will create that for you. Great productivity gain, does a lot of work for you, but I want to show people things from first principles. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to close this builder page, but I encourage people to return to the builder page and look at the different viewpoints that you can put in. And this is the same for anything you're doing in Enterprise Architect. It will invariably be patterns available for you to inject into your model. But let's focus
because the patterns have references, people can do a bit of research and find out more about the diagrams as well.
Exactly, Scott. So it's a very rich resource there for you to use. It's not just the patterns themselves, but you can learn about the particular pattern you're injecting in by scrolling down and looking at that reference material. So let's close the builder page and let's go to our repository here. And I want to set my perspective for ArchiMate, which I've done. And now if you look at the toolbox there and I focus on ArchiMate, you can see there that we've got these different diagrams we can put in. We'll choose the business one there. And we need to find a place in our repository for this work. So we'll go into Enterprise and move our toolbox over a little bit. Lots of flexibility in the user interface there. We've got two other viewpoints that we've put in here, previous videos, the organization viewpoint and the business process cooperation viewpoint. So just having a quick look at those, we can open those up and see that's what the organization viewpoint was. That's what the business process cooperation one is. We can close those now and we can create our own viewpoint. So with that selected, the business architecture selected there, let's create a new package. I can do that from this menu here, new package available there, but my preference is to do it from up here. It's much quicker. I click on that icon in the project browser toolbar and I can simply say product viewpoint. So creating a new package after that there, and let's, as always, add some notes to this package so that anyone that's coming to the model can understand immediately what it's for. So I'll drop some notes in there. I didn't just make these up, Scott. I have them in my buffer there from the specification, and it comes directly from the specification. You can put your own notes in if you want to, but this is a viewpoint from the specification, and I like just to put in that text. So let's go and create our viewpoint now, the product viewpoint. We can use our toolbar again with the arrows to move things up and down. Let's move that down below the other two viewpoints. I'm going to create a diagram now. And again, I can go into here and I can look for my product viewpoint. There it is there. I'm going to select that one and say create diagram. And what that does is it brings up the list of elements and connectors that are available for this particular viewpoint. So let's go in and do some work now. So the main element that I want to put onto the canvas there is the product.
The product.
So I'm going to call it the urban parking system. So that's the main product that we're creating. So that's a very big picture. Yeah. Obviously, the urban parking system would be made up of other products, and we could model those separately as well. I'm going to make that a little bit larger there, Scott. And let's do that. And now let's, again, following our best practice, let's put in some notes for that element there, and we'll put those into the notes window. So then whenever we click on that element, we can see those notes. And of course, we can search through that note. If we were looking for, digital platform or something, we can search and find that if we didn't have this open.
Obviously, the more descriptive you are, the more it pays off down the line once you've done lots and lots of modeling.
Exactly. So one of the things about the product perspective is that it really is important to put in the value that this element or this representation of the system provides. Now I'm going to go to a different palette now. So I've got a number of different palettes there. I'm going to go into the motivation one there, and you can see that there are a range of different things. Now this is going a little bit beyond this viewpoint, but I think it's a really important thing for this viewpoint is to put in that value. And let's put in a value proposition, if you like, and I'll just put in there, and we'll say that it's about optimized urban mobility. So it's a important concept, and let's put that in, and we're going to connect that up to this one here, and we'll put that in, and we'll put it in with an association. Now there are all sorts of other values that come from doing this. Revenue generation is another one. So if you're familiar with getting some sort of parking infringement, you know that someone is collecting that money, and that revenue is being important as it's going into doing all sorts of valuable things in the urban environment. So let's have a look at another one here. The value is environmental impact. We're doing something with our parking system to focus on environmental impact. And that might be, Scott, that you're not driving around for half an hour looking for a car parking space, but you're being directed to one. And, that obviously saves fuel, saves time, saves frustration. And so, a useful thing there. So let's put some notes into these elements as well. So we'll put in some discussion about that environmental impact so people can understand what's it about. So environmental impact reduces the emissions from cars circling and searching for parking spaces in congested areas. We're going to associate those ones as well. So let's put in association there. You can see how quick it is with the quick linker. Let's not worry too much about the layout of this. We can, do our layout in a minute. And let's put in some other elements in here. So let's put in some business services that are part of our urban parking system. So we can drop those in. We'll go back to our palette again here, and let's bring that up. The ArchiMate business one there, and here's a business service. And let's drop that in. You can see that goes on with that icon. Scott, I like at this point to change those. I can change the appearance by saying let's not use the rectangular notation, but let's use that notation. Kind of fits in, that pill shape fits in better into this larger element.
Yes.
And I can do all sorts of, add all sorts of other things to this diagram. I can put in application interfaces. I can put in actors. I can put in interfaces. I can put in a number of other elements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to do some time travel, Scott, and we'll come back in a couple of seconds and I'll have finished off this diagram.
Welcome back, Stephen. I've conducted a bit of time travel and editing magic, and we now have our completed product viewpoint. So can you tell us a little bit about this particular diagram and what are some of the things that it communicates to the business audience that might be looking at it?
Thank you, Scott, and glad to be back. So yes, we've completed the diagram. You can see now that there are a number of different elements on the diagram. I'm going to tuck my toolbox away. I can do that just using the chevron. That gives me a little bit more space there. And now I can see the diagram almost its entirety. I can still use the pan and zoom window down here to move around the diagram if I need to. So always remember that pan and zoom is there. What I'm going to do, Scott, is I'm going to drag a legend on from the project browser. So we've got a libraries package here, and it's got a number of different things in it: checklists, image assets, legends. These are things that I can reuse on different diagrams. So all I'm going to do is drag that ArchiMate connector legend on there and place it there. And now you can see that the diagram connectors have been updated, and it's much easier to see, what the connector type is. So let's talk a little bit about the elements that are on the diagram. So we did look at go back to this here, and we'll go back to our elements, and you can see here that this one is the central one. There is a product, and you can see that in the properties window. It's an ArchiMate product, and inside that we have a number of business services. So parking space management, payment processing, analytics and reporting, all important business services. And underneath this, we have this one here, the application services. And we've got that composed of that. Different modelers may put in different connectors here. So that one there is made up of that. We could put in here a realization one as well. So let's do that as an example. So we've got a number of different connectors there. Actually, let's leave that out for the moment, and let's go back to look at some of the other elements. We've got actors there. We've got interfaces. And the other thing that we've got that's all important is this value element here. So what's the value that this particular product is providing? So optimizing parking mobility there, revenue generation, environmental impact. So gives you a very clear picture of that value. Over on the right-hand side here, we've got parking meter, parking service agreements. So this is a contract. We've got the contract element and another user terms and conditions. And again, that's using a particular relationship, and we could use an association there. So a little bit of flexibility with the type of relationships depending upon what you want to express. But the main thrust of the diagram is it's showing, the product is the focus, the business services that product is offering, the value that it's delivering, and then we've got other elements like the contracts that are showing us what things are important with respect to this product. So again, we've got a diagram note on here as well that's displaying the notes that are part of the diagram. And of course, we had our legend put on that diagram as well. So a very useful diagram, Scott, a very useful viewpoint, product focus, giving people an idea about, what this product that we're building, creating, developing is all about.
Thanks, Stephen. It's great to see so much fine-grained detail about how the product comes together and some of the services that make up it, and some of the values that it brings, and it even has links to things like contracts, which is really quite comprehensive. As always, to our audience, if you've enjoyed this video, we really appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe. It's great to grow our YouTube audience, and we love your feedback. If you have any questions about ArchiMate, the product viewpoint, or some of the other viewpoints in ArchiMate, you can reach out to Stephen using the credentials in the video description below. There's LinkedIn details and website details, which would allow you to reach out and get in contact with Stephen. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your contributions again, Stephen. It's great to see ArchiMate come to life in Enterprise Architect, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Thank you, Scott. And remember, we've only just scratched the surface of the tool's capabilities.